AVA's holding this conference because we exist to support service providers to women who've experienced different forms of domestic and sexual violence. And we believe that services are most effectively delivered when survivors' voices are central to that. So that's why we're holding this conference here today, to support service providers to improve their provision.
I think it's really important to involve those that have experienced violence and survived it in shaping the agenda as we move forward, particularly in the area that I work in, where young women have been affected by gang violence and the services that are in place to support them just don't meet their needs, and there's a huge gap between those that design the services and those that use them, and the only way we can really bridge that gap is by training survivors to do the job better and to develop more appropriate services and strategies to respond to their violence and protect them from risk.
The main reason that I came to the AVA conference today was because it seemed to offer something really different that most other conferences don't offer, and that was looking at things from a survivor's perspective, which I think is really important. I think what I'm most hoping to take away from today is a renewed energy, I think, more than anything else, a renewed energy into just reminding myself why I'm in this field in the first place.
I've been talking about why it's so important for survivors' voices to be heard and how critical they are to ending violence against women and girls. Survivors' testimony tells us so much about the reality of violence, and it's only by facing that reality that we can ever hope to end it. This AVA conference is one of the best conferences that I've been to for years. It has given me so much energy and real determination to go back out there and really do everything that I can to try and end violence against women and girls.
The reason I chose to come to this conference was to hear survivors' voices, because I think it's quite unique that I haven't been to a conference or heard of a conference where survivors have spoken and the whole agenda is around survivors. So that's why I chose to come here.
Today has been incredible, and thank you to AVA for bringing this together. I think that every so often we need a reminder as to why we're here.
I wanted to find out more about how we can incorporate survivors' voices and experiences into wider work that we're doing. In particular, I wanted to listen to survivors that were here and speak to a few people about the ways that we can move beyond tokenistic consultation and involvement. I think that words like empowerment and survivor-led are buzzwords that are thrown around quite a lot and often used to legitimise projects or to appease funders, and I wanted to come to think a little bit more and to hear what people had to say about how we can engage with survivors in a more meaningful way.
I've not been at something that has just drawn so much feeling and response from me. It was frankly overwhelming at times. However, it also had the antidote in there of great joy, because of the successes of these people, the humility of these people. You know, we go to conferences and we hear very well qualified people professionally, they've got lots of government experience, they've done this, they've done that. They haven't necessarily disclosed their personal experiences, and it might not include abuse. Maybe humility is not a big factor in some of the things we go to. What we heard today was ordinary people. In fact, they're not ordinary people. They're fantastic people if you hear them. But they're just, you know, there's loads of them in the country, suffered this abuse, and they told it like it really is. It wasn't dressed up. They told it in their own ways, which could be poetry, for example, could be explicit descriptions of things, which was so alarming. But they told it like it was, with great humility. And I think that draws, you know, you've got to be inhuman not to have some real difficulty hearing that stuff. It's the joy of seeing those people say how strong they feel, and, you know, saying how listening to other people in the conference themselves enabled them to keep going, how it gave them strength. That's great joy, and that's a great antidote to the kind of sadness and emotion that it first draws out of you.
The reason that I wanted to support AVA was that they were hugely supportive to me when my daughter died, and they gave me the strength and the belief that I could make a difference. there are so many things that is part of domestic violence, different forms of domestic violence, and a lot of people don't understand that. My daughter was stalked. She would never have seen herself as domestic violence.
I'm really pleased with the way that today's event has gone. It's been really wonderful with all the speakers speaking totally from the heart. People in the audience have told me that they've been really inspired and they're going to take that back to their organisations and see how they can improve survivor involvement in their work, which is really great news and after all what we exist to do.